Sand.
My cabbages!
Low, low, man.
Ah, my cabbages! Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
What is up, everybody? We have a very special impromptu kind of emergency update edition of the Legal Mindset. We're going to be talking about Somali's detention hell. I will have a fast facts video, a shorter version that'll come out later on this. Of course, you guys know Legal Mindset, teacher, bro, judge. I'm Andrew in Asia over here. I had attended the Somali trial a couple days ago, and I have been on it. I've been getting my phone blown up by members of the SCT. I know a lot of other people have done stuff on it recently. I know Atozi just did a live stream as well. And I'm going to have a video out later. So there's a lot of stuff coming on this. Big news. We're talking about the prosecution officially appealing. We did it, boys. We did it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him. And honestly, I just want to say, before we get into it, everything, it's much thanks to you guys, the audience, people out there that are supporting this, people out there pushing this. I also had an interview this morning with KBS World Radio, a Korean radio station, but it was their English language version, with a professor from Japan, a reporter from Korea. This is getting pushed out in Korean media, online, everywhere. And this is a huge part of it is people paying attention, people commenting, people responding. So it's really thanks to you guys and all of the cabbage lovers out there that have come to support. By the way, you can still get your cabbage plushie. That link is in the description, and it's in this pinned comments in the live chat as well. So get your cabbage plushie. It's very cute. Mudang gets jealous. I give so much love to the cabbage. Somebody commented on my locals. They said we should make Mudang the judge because Mudang would give a very harsh sentence. Mudang may look cute, but remember, hippopotamuses cause death, so they will bring death upon their enemies. And Johnny Somali is definitely an enemy of Mudang. I will tell you that right now. But yeah. It is very good day. It's very great to see that. So we're going to talk about the appeal. We're also going to talk about something that I have been keeping under wraps for a very, very long time. And I am so psyched that now that the appeal is official, right now that both the prosecution and Ramsey appealed, they actually both appealed. So I'm going to be fair. They both appealed, right? Now that this has happened, we activated our trap card. This is the biggest trap card that we've been waiting and sitting on. I have been sitting on this trap card for almost, over 2 years, because we had interviewed somebody who had gone through this process, and we know people who'd gone through this process, somebody who'd gone through this process of the criminal process in Korea. And if you appeal, the place that you are stuck in, the detention center, is worse than the prison. It's absolute hell. And I'm gonna describe that to you guys today and show you the living hell that Johnny Somali is in that is worse than the actual labor prison, if you can believe that. So the place that he played himself in and now is stuck in for longer than 6 months, he will be stuck there for longer than 6 months. Confirmed. This is confirmed. Is absolute hell, especially for Johnny Somali. So we're gonna get into all that today. It's absolutely great and appreciate all the love. Make sure to like the video as you're coming in here. Actually, for 20 Norwegian krona, appreciate that. Very based. Yeah, he played himself. So let's start out here. There's a lot of stuff for today's show. Let's start out here just showing you the appeals. And so you guys see that. I'll show you guys on my X so you can kind of see that over here. So you see this is Johnny filing for appeal. This is 4/20/2026 is Pigoin, which means defendant. And this is Ram, R-A-M. But it's the shorthand for Ramsey Khalid Ismail. They only put the first letters of that name, and then the rest they make anonymous, and then they pretty much means submits an appeal. So that's pretty much what that says. But then over here, I translated this one from today. So this is the official notice. You see here, 4/21/2026. Prosecutor Park Seo-jung submits an appeal. 4/21/2026. Prosecutor Park Seo-jung submits statement of grounds for an appeal. Now, you have to submit both. You are required to submit both. But this is very, very, very interesting because the statement for the grounds of the appeal doesn't have to be submitted till a month after they apply for submitting for an appeal. All they had to do is submit the appeal. That's all they had to do. But this shows that the prosecutors were grinding on this one and got this in quickly. They got in the statement of the grounds super quickly, which means the prosecutor is highly motivated here to pursue this appeal, which is good, which means they're probably going to push for a higher sentence. And they're probably going to say, hey, judge, you screwed up. You didn't follow what we tell you to do. And therefore, you need to correct this. And by the way, the appeal is with 3 judges. It's with a panel of 3 judges. So we don't have the same probability that a single judge is going to go light or go soft or do something else. There's a much higher probability that he gets a higher sentence based on the panel. And the prosecution is heavily favored to win. So just so you know how that plays out. All right. So let's get into my PP. I'm going to whip it out for you guys. But first, I'll get these comments. Alex Chung, 3130 for 20, says RK filing an appeal just shows how badly he's messed up his own life. I'm also grateful the Korean prosecutors have appealed. Yep, that means we can get a longer sentence officially. I really hope the second trial hands down a heavier sentence from Taiwan. Well, shout out to Taiwan. Hope you're doing well over there. Nekris, member for 25 months, says getting stuck in bureaucracy is worse than punishment. Shocking. And Koreans are masters at bureaucracy. The process is the punishment in Korea. Rokamel Blue for 15 Norwegian Krona says, I'm excited to hear this. I eat mango ice cream cocktail, first drink in 2 months, and a small raspberry cheesecake. Suffa, Johnny, suffa. Oh, I'm having some soju tonight. Definitely. I'll probably post a little photo of the soju when I buy it tonight, but I am having some soju tonight after I drink this water because I got a cough, guys. So I'm very, very sorry about that. Also, LOS F3D 3R 4LES, maybe that's lead speak. Sorry, I'm not translating my lead speak fast. Can you give me your best blue steel? I cannot do blue steel. No, I can't do it. I can't. I'm not in the mood for blue steel right now. I cannot do it perfectly. Another time. I got to practice. Super Ray for 100 Czech krona says, is it safe to say that he will have to do this next year, taxes from prison? Yeah. So he's going to be there at least a year now. And we can say a year is realistic. Maybe even more with this timeline. Real Max Experience is walking home. Forget the chapstick. Oh yeah. So he's going to be there into next year. Yes, absolutely for sure. Okay, so let me whip out the PP, guys, and we'll get into the breakdown here. Okay, this is Somali's detention hell. So obviously, you guys know he was charged, found guilty on all charges. He got 6 months of prison with labor, an additional 20 days of detention, 5 years sex offender status, and his phone's permanently confiscated. He filed an appeal on April 20th, so that's when we knew it was officially happening. But today we have the prosecution filing an appeal. John Case said, such good news before I start my work day. Now I can work happy. Me too, brother. Me too. I am so giddy today. I am so happy. So here's the official thing I showed you guys. Once again, the official appeal from the prosecutor. You guys know about getting cabbages. All that's all good. Here's how the double detention works. So it is 6 months in prison for sure. That at that time he is detained, right? He is 100% detained. And then he doesn't get to go free even after his sentence. He has to go in and stay in the detention center even during his appeal. So even though he got a 6-month sentence, he stays in there for that extra period of time. That is likely 12 months total, if not more than 12 months, which is absolutely grand. Armando Limon says, I jumped from a Tozy stream to yours about the same subject. Yeah, no, I'm going to have a little bit more details and go into more of the prison side, because this is what Tozy hasn't, I don't think, had the same contact as I had with the individual we interviewed who's been inside the prison. It is hellacious. And this is the real story, right? Is that the conditions he's going to be subject to for this year that he's now stuck, confirmed he's going to be there for a year. No appeal, by the way, and this is an important fact, no appeal has started before 5 months. So his appeal is not even going to start till 5 months down the line, right? He has zero chance of getting out there in less than 6 months. Zero. And appeals typically take 4, 6, even up to 8 months. So he's going to be in there for a while. Los Federales. Oh, Los Federales. I work for them. Sorry. I should have gotten that lead speak. I'm sorry. The Pondering Professor for 2001. Appreciate that. Ulrich. What's up, Ulrich? Professor Ulrich, not our very based source translator and, good friend. Says that toilet isn't going to keep itself company. That's very true. And he will be sleeping next to the toilet. So we're going to get into the prison stuff. But just because the professor mentioned it, there's a ranking system in prison, right? And he is definitely on the bottom. He doesn't speak Korean. He's not a member of a gang. He's not part of the mafia. He doesn't have money or power or influence, anything else. He is going to be sleeping by the toilet, absolutely the lowest rank. He's the smallest guy. He's not tough. He's going to have the worst position ever. Issy Rose Duncan says, Tozy and Andrew are really spoiling us with the live streams. I know we're trying to get you this information as quickly as possible. UFO, member for 18 months, says, music for my ears. True Nat 1 proficiency. Katie Nat Cat says, good morning from the East Coast. Finally caught up your live and work starts in 20 minutes. Thank you for your coverage on Arcane. My pleasure. Tejas Libre for 5 says, how exactly did he get a 5 years SO sentence if the minimum SO length under is 10 years? I don't know about that. I'll look at that, but I don't think there's a minimum there. But can double check that. But he's got 5 for sure. 5 locked in for sure. UFO for 100 check Corona says, did the detention time from the appeal count as part of the sentence time? So if the sentence is found to be longer, so let's say they gave him 1.5 years. Yes, that time in detention does count. So it does count if it's longer. However, if it's shorter, he doesn't get his time back, right? He's not compensated for that time. So no matter what, he's not going to get time back. He's only going to have to spend more time, right? So yes, the time in detention during appeal does count towards his overall sentence, right? That is part of the system. That's due process, right? That's how it works. But he's not going to get any time back. So if they end up changing it to 9 months instead of 6 months or 1 year, and he's been in there 1 year and 2 months, he doesn't get this time back. That time is gone. Miss Meagles 5805 says, so that means Johnny's rank is toilet brush? Pretty much. He's going to be the one cleaning the toilet. Yeah. Celia Frostburn for 5 says, so it's safe to say he's appealing because the SO status, because with that, he'd be screwed even when he came back to America. I think it is because the SO status, and because with that, he's never going to be able to get on these streaming platforms. He's never going to be able to go anywhere. It's going to be a black mark on his, him permanently. So I think that's one of the things he may want to be fighting. Yes. So this kind of leads us to this situation where, this is courtesy of Johnny So Somali on X, where Johnny's like, wait, what? But I put in my appeal. I'm going to be in prison for how much longer? That's not fair. Well, that's the trap card. The trap card we played that we kind of knew was the appeal would keep him in detention longer. And he's going to be sent, or rather stuck at the detention center, not the labor prison. So let me explain this to you guys. And this is something, once again, we interviewed a Kyopo, a Korean American that was in that system and stuck in the detention center. And they actually were writing letters to their friend who was at the labor prison, Chonan. And you're going to see that from the perspective of a prisoner, the labor prison, the factory work is actually heaven, because the detention center is hell. And everybody who's been through that system hates the detention center. But that's now where he's stuck, because here's how it works. It's a 1, 2, 3 process. So step 1 is court. You get arrested at court. You get detained at court. Sometimes you're sent to the police, the local police office in the holding cell for the local police right by the court. And you stay there for a few days before you're sent to the detention center. Then you're sent to the detention center. For him, this is Seoul Nambu Detention Center. And we have effectively confirmed this is where Johnny Somali is, at the Seoul Nambu Detention Center. But at the detention center is where you wait until your case is either not appealed, right? Or there's some sort of resolution, et cetera, regarding your case. If once your case is not appealed and there's no appeal, then you go to the prison. Then you go to Chonan prison, right? But he stays at Nambu until the appeal is resolved, right? Until that appeal is totally adjudicated, right? So he can't go to step 3 until this appeal is done. And this is so much worse. You're going to see why. I'm going to give you all the details of why the detention center is hell. But let me get some of these chats first. John K's 9207 for $9.99 says, I hate that Vitaly is back in America. At least I can be happy there. Okay, I will not be there anytime soon. That's right. But I think the Philippines messed up with Vitaly. I think the Philippines should have gone harder on Vitaly. That's my personal opinion. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. IJE 5739. By the way, Vitaly's conditions in the Philippines are far better than what Johnny has at the detention center. Far better. He had an actual bed. These guys have sleeping mats, right? They're not sleeping in actual beds. Knowing his life in prison would be tough brought a big smile to my face. Oh, you're about to see. You guys are about to see. I'm going to show you some video here. Shepard's Gaming Run, member for 24 months, says, I still can't believe he is FA. He needs to FO. That's right. Dine Dance 29 says, for 200, Songroy, Thai Bot, Kopun Kap says, Johnny can Johnny work in prison to pay Hank's civil lawsuit if he lost? By the way, hello again from Thailand. Do you know there's a new pygmy hippo cub that's a relative? Yes, I do know that. I got to go see that one. Very cute. And Khao Kiao Open Zoo. There may be the possibility for some payment to go to Hank if Hank lost his civil suit, but I think more than that, he would try to be garnishing his, whatever he can from him. Remember, Somali had a backpack on him, and that backpack likely has a bunch of cash because he was trying to leave the country with Hank's money. And by the way, there's a new rumor. I had said 50,000 with Hank. There's a new rumor. It's 80,000 because it was actually 30,000 in costs and another 50,000 that allegedly, according to rumors, once again, this is rumors, that Hank gave Johnny $50,000 to invest in the U.S. stock market. And he kind of scammed him out of that money. That's the rumor mill right now, right? And I'm going to have the Carfax on that, post that on my X. You guys will see the stuff on that. So that would bring the total up to 30,000 in costs and other stuff and money that he'd given him to live, and then another 50,000. So Hank really got scammed for a lot by Johnny. You almost feel bad for him. Yeah, Rocambo Blue said him being stuck in detention. I saw that coming. Yeah, there we go. Big Blurp says Ramsey. Wait. Hold on. I got it. This is Ramsey in the detention center.
No. Wait.
Rocambo Blue says KR detention centers are far worse than others think. Yeah, you're stuck in there with like rowdy Nigerians, like crazy people, like all sorts of stuff, and you are packed in. I'm going to get into that. Bert Cocaine for $4.99 says, does that mean SO status stays with him forever? Like if he travels or does anything, it doesn't go away? No, it does eventually wear off. You don't have to report it anymore. But I mean, the internet is going to know forever and that tag will be with him forever, but your requirement to report it goes away. Michael McLeod, at least in Somali's case, 6517 for 10 says, better for Ramsey to accept his sentence. He just added more time to himself. He can't take it back now. And also, now that the prosecution has appealed, he really can't take it back because there's an appeal for the prosecution and from Johnny. So they both appealed. So officially, he cannot back out of an appeal. He's locked into appeal. The appeal is happening. So we will be covering Johnny Somali for quite a while on this channel. We'll be covering Johnny Somali for another 6 months. Of course, the next trial will probably not be until August or September. We're probably not going to have any updates on that till then. But when it comes to then, we'll be covering it yet again. More cabbages 5-6 months from now. Reading, I said, official appeal. Have fun. Have a high five in celebration. Get Mudang a good successor. She deserves it for the hard work. Can't wait for the cabbage. Well, she's got her very nice princess crown there. She's doing well. She might be feeling, today. she might be feeling a little cowboy today because this is some cowboy stuff. This is some cowboy stuff. Sim Racing Wales says, I'm enjoying this so much. Thank you, Legal Minds. Well, thank you. Appreciate all of you guys out there. Armando Limon says, do you think the inmates know of Johnny's preferences? Will he get passed around for a pack of smokes or kimchi? Now, one thing in Korea is there isn't a lot of like sexual violence. So I don't think there's going to be a drop the soap incident, but he can get into fights. And it is possible that he would get, if he, lips off or something, get into a fight. So that is very, very possible. And mind you, he may be in there with people like gangsters and other stuff like that, like Chinese or Vietnamese, Thai, whatever, like gangsters in there. And these are people that are like clearly bigger and tougher than him, right? So he's going to be on the bottom rung for sure. Jaffa Greg for 5 New Zealand says, you warned this dumbass of the consequences of appealing. How many times the fool ignore me? Well, he decided to pay attention to his attorney. And I'm going to show you guys this now because I was going to talk about it later, but this is the bad advice he received. Let me see if I can find this. I had this a second ago. He had some really, really, really bad advice from his attorney. Okay, so let me play you guys this video here. This is absolutely hilarious.
So he's gonna go April 1st at 1000 hours.
Does he think that this charge will have any jail time? Because people on the internet are saying, I know it's bullshit. Don't even say that. Just say this.
People on the internet are saying, once again, maybe those people on the internet did their research, and maybe these people on the internet talked to many different people, including Korean attorneys, other people. Maybe we had experience in this. Maybe people that have that are on the SCT have taken cases to the Supreme Court. Maybe we've actually done our homework on this. Maybe really well. Maybe, just maybe, right? Which is what happened. But let's hear this.
This charge, people are saying I'm going to go to jail for this. Is that true?
이거 감금 될까요, 얘? 많이 규제되면.
구속되냐고?
네.
그럴 가능성은 없어. 미국인이야.
Do you see that? You guys see that? No chance. This is what his lawyer said. His lawyer told him, no chance. He's an American.
미국인이야.
What did he say?
그래.
He's saying that
근데 저번에
Probably
처음에
not, because
얘기했잖아.
you are an
미국인들
American.
탑으로 하지
Probably not
않아.
because I'm American. Okay.
There you go. There you go. Horrible advice, horrible commentary. Once again, that's the type of like, as a lawyer, like, I'm just going to say this. You don't make those Saul Goodman type promises to your client. You don't make those sort of guarantees. But what I've heard from a lot of people, particularly the jailhouse lawyers, the lawyers that come into the detention center, et cetera, and this came out in the interview that we did with someone who was in the detention center, is these lawyers will make you promises that say like, oh, you're going to get off, or oh, it's going to be wonderful. Oh, no, no problems for you. And then there's all these problems, right? So the lawyers often like overpromise and underdeliver, and clearly he was not right there. Mellow Fungus says maybe the lawyer wanted him in jail, maybe by the end. Blue Strike 125 says, call me demented, but I hope RKI starts to think rage quitting life starts to think like it's not a good idea. Well, can't promote that, but yeah, I mean, he's certainly going to be frustrated in jail for sure. UFO for 50 check corner says toilet brush emoji. They don't get too much outside time and detention. No, in fact, they get very, very little. We're going to talk about that in 1 second. So let's see here. L Eagle says RIP rotten prison. Definitely. Why is YouTube censoring everything funny? I want to say, well, it's got to be appropriate, John Kings 9207 says, have you been following Vitali's latest problem with accusing the wrong person of SY? We'd be covering that if it goes to trial. I already covered it. John K, look at my video on Vitali. Go to my video section. Go back. I have a video on Vitali. I think it got like a lot of views. So you should go get my update on that, and will do a stream on it in the future. So I'll do some live streams on it as well. Eric Rader for 5 says, Johnny Somali should try nuisance stream with the Chinese triads or Russian mafia. It must be live stream as well. Well, he might be in there with the triad and the Russian mafia, and those people don't around, right? He's going to find out if he tries to mess with them. Patrick says, so the 5 years for the Korean SO list, does that run concurrent here, or does it restart once he hits the States? As far as I know, it'd be concurrent. So when it's up in Korea, it will be up there, right? Kylie Adelaide for 10 Aussie dollars. All right, guys, the gift that keeps on giving, digging the 6-month sentence now because it's going to mean more content. That's right. Worse conditions than if he'd just done his time and having his hopes crushed on appeal. Tejas Libre says, I think you misunderstood the job restriction, which is 5 years as SO status. It's not that job restriction applies to anyone sent to prison in Korea. Okay, yeah. So there will be restrictions on him forever. Yes. So, for example, he'll have to disclose he was a criminal in Korea. He'll have to disclose that he went to jail, in Korea, that he has this crime abroad. So he's going to have to disclose that pretty much permanently. That's true. Wojo says Johnny went from cabbage to celery.
Emotional cabbage.
All right, let's get into it. So one thing that we want to get into you guys' head talking about this detention center hell is that these detention centers are at 130% capacity. So they pack people in 6 or 7 to a room. So I'm going to right now show you guys this video here.
There are 30% more people
depicting in South Korea how they pack people in the detention centers.
There are 30% more people than the garden capacity. They make rooms the exact same size as actual cells and put people in them. As soon as there are 1, 2, 3 people, it feels crowded. As soon as there are 4 people, there is no more space. And from 5 people, it's...
So in the cell, this is a recreation. This is not the actual cell. This is a recreation of the cell. But in the cells, they put 6 people per room for foreigners. For Koreans, they'll actually put up to 7. But for foreigners, because I assume that most foreigners are bigger, etc., they put at least 6 people to the room, which is pretty freaking nuts. That is pretty freaking nuts. Also, what's pretty freaking nuts is Cat Weasel Gaming dropping 8107 dropping 50 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Say thank you if you receive one of those gift memberships from Cat Weasel Gaming. We're going to have a member stream in the next couple days, so look forward to that. Maybe tomorrow or the next day I will do a member stream, so look forward to that. Thank you for that. You've accessed all the emojis, everything else, and shout out to that. Also, big shout out to Kick and all the people over there on Kick and everybody over there on my locals. I see you guys over there. Appreciate all you. Digital Lee says, keep suffering, Ramsey. You never had respect for East Asian culture. That's right. He also asked on locals, were you able to find out if the SO registration still applies when it returns to the U.S.? It's new law. So the problem with it is it's a very new law, and the Korean law has never been attempted to be applied in the U.S. because it's a very novel situation. You don't have a lot of people that are subject to both law. So it would be a new application. I am making the argument that it applies. A judge could agree with me or could disagree with me. That's my argument, right? And I'm going to stand by that argument, right? The Chew there for 200 Czech krona says, don't mind me, I'm just on my lunch break laughing maniacally. We'll see if that hair of his makes for a decent brush. Would be bad to see if his cellmates having to use an unhygienic, okay. Yeah. Well, they're definitely going to have him using whatever parts he can to clean the toilet, because that is not a joke. Somebody has to clean the toilet, and the lowest ranking person in the room gets assigned to clean the toilet. So he will definitely be the bottom, let's say, that is stuck cleaning the toilet. So let's talk about detention center hell and how this is going to be absolute hell for him. It's at 130% capacity. The people are packed in. If you are a foreigner, you are stuck in the room all day. You don't go anywhere, right? Because since you don't speak Korean, you can't do any of the tasks at the detention center because you can't speak Korean. The guards can't give instructions to you. They don't really talk to you. Like what I've been told is if you don't speak Korean, after you're told your initial rights, which is you have 7 days to submit an appeal, they pretty much stop talking to you. And the only way you communicate is if you find somebody who speaks both Korean and English and you have them translate for you. And even then, it's only with the guards at certain times for certain things, right? There really isn't also talking. People are not really talking and socializing in there. They're really not talking. It's like dead drop quiet. You're only getting 30 minutes of outdoor time every other Saturday, right? Think about that. 30 minutes of outdoor time every other Saturday. The only communication that you have with most people is not phone calls. You don't even get phone calls. You're getting letters, right? You have to write letters. And we're going to read a prison letter later. I have a prison letter for you guys. But you're really like locked down. So for Johnny, that's going to probably drive him crazy. People are fighting over hot water, right? Because no one wants to take, I mean, most people don't like take cold showers. Some people do, but people are fighting over hot showers. Usually you only get one hot shower a week. So you're getting that cold water, and there's no air conditioning as well. So in the summer, he's going to be dealing with no AC, right? In that hot room, like in that hot box. You've got lawyers in prison, you know, the Saul Goodmans that are trying to exploit the foreigners. I heard stories about foreigners that would pay 10 or 20,000 USD to these shady, shisty courthouse lawyers that promise them, that come to the jail, and they try to promise you everything and promise to get you out and promise to save you, but they just take all your money and scam you, right? That is a thing. Also, the food is horrible. They give you rice and soup in a bucket. So they are taking rice and soup in a bucket. And apparently this rice is so bad in quality, that on the Korean holidays, they point out that we're giving you the special rice, which means they're like giving you kind of like normal rice, right? Because you're getting normal, like the prisoners normally get the very trash tier, bottom tier rice, right? Like the garbage rice. But like for Chuseok, for the Korean holidays, Christmas, they're going to give you nice rice, right? They're going to give you nice rice. It is slop. People fight over it. The other thing is there is a commissary. If you guys know about prison, a commissary is where you get to order stuff like cigarettes or whatever else, right? Well, here's the thing. He's not going to be getting any of that, right? He's not going to be getting any of that. So you don't get to order from the commissary unless you speak fluent Korean, right? They're just not going to take your order. They're not going to allow you. So you have to find somebody that will do it for you, speaking Korean, to order. Absolutely crazy. So here we have a letter. This was written by a friend of the person that we interviewed. You know, we interviewed somebody who was in the detention center, who was stuck there for a year. And he was stuck there for the exact same reason as Somali, because he tried to appeal. This is what he had to say, right? I'm going to read the letter. Once again, his friend is in the labor prison. He says, try to come fast, because in Chonan is the labor prison. The time is passing very well. Every morning we go to the factory, and at 5 o'clock we come to the room. All day is busy in work, talking to many people. And we also have the opportunity of phone calls. And you can also talk to your friends. And fortunately with Mr. Park Jung, he is very famous in Chonan prison. Take care of yourself and stay warm. Remember, they don't get much hot water. Remember me in your prayers. And that's sincerely from his friend, right? So his friend is out there saying, please hurry up, because it is so much better in the labor prison than in the detention center, right? That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. The other thing they noted to me, and this sort of reminds me of like Squid Games in a way, because if you guys remember, there's like always that song that plays. This is the song, and we may get a strike over this. I hope we don't get in trouble, but this is the song that they play every morning that the prisoners wake up to. So everybody who's been in Korean prison, right, will like be triggered by this. So if we have anybody who's been to Korean prison and out there, you guys will be triggered by this. And in the future, if you want to trigger Johnny Somali, you can play this song, right? So anybody who wants to trigger Johnny Somali, because every day at 6 a.m. in the morning, they play this song. So here we go. This is the song.
법은 어렵지 않아요. 법은
Am I triggering people in the audience? Or maybe some former prisoners.
법은 우리를 도와주어요. 법은 우리를 지켜주어요. 살기 좋은 세상을 어디 살아있는
Every day at 6 a.m.
모두 법안에서 자유로울 수 있어. 행복한 이 세상을 어디 지켜지는 세상. 작은 것을 지켜도 느껴지는 행복함. 기본이 세워지는 기분 좋은 세상. 기본이 지켜지는 기분 좋은 세상. 자, 이제 시작해요. 기분 좋은 기분. 모두가 지킬수록 기분 좋은 기분.
You guys can find this over here. I'll put this in the chat for you guys if you want to search that up so you guys can find that. You can send that to Johnny Somali afterwards and definitely troll him with that. That's going to be permanently something that is scarring for Johnny Somali. That is permanent. Once again, that's going to be permanent.
Emotional damage.
There we go. I think it's cute. I think it was cute, but it did have Squid Game vibes. I'm not going to lie. That did have Squid Game vibes. All right. Dynance for 100 Nung Roy Thai Bat Copen Cop said, can he be prosecuted for perjury and his other street crimes through the trial now the criminal records? RK season 2 ensures yes. So they can go back and get him on anything they have not charged him for. So anything that he has not been charged yet with and not gone to trial on, it's still within the statute of limitations. They can still bring that. So yeah, they can definitely do that. Sarah Duncan says he reminds me of a toddler throwing a tantrum because he was told no. That's exactly right. Befitting Miasma said RKI sell one of 6 people just 5.5 because he's the half. B. Jaber said appreciate the awesome content. My pleasure. Drink77 says hello from the Philippines. Mabuhay. How is it possible that a Korean detention center is worse than the prisons in the Philippines? Prisons here are horrible. The difference is, and I'm going to be real with you because I am, you guys know I'm real. That's the difference between me and other channels. I don't BS, whatever. If you do have money, and this is something that Vitaly is unfortunately correct about, and if you look at other cases in Philippine prison, my Philippine brothers and sisters, you have to acknowledge this. If you have money, you can indeed get things in Philippine prison. That is not possible in Korea. There's no bribery. There's no, like, oh, if I pay, I can get this. If I pay, I can have access to my phone. If I pay, I can do this. There's none of that there. Also, in Philippine prison, you can socialize. You cannot socialize in the prison in Korea. Sid 67, Crow 73 for 20 legal mindset memberships. Thank you so much.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
We say thank you. Hwan Sang Hua Young says in Korea, the government buys it every year to protect rice farmers. They only pile it up in warehouses every year. Oh, cool. Jack the Cat says he's trying to out of the frying pan and into the lava. That's right. Adam Stroke says, good day from Australia for 20. Thanks for your tireless work in this place. My pleasure. I'm happy to help. I lived in Korea for 2 years and deeply respect its culture, as do I. I lived there for 3 years. The reason why I just got on this is because I lived in Korea. I love Korea. I love Korean people. I love the Korean people. I love Korean food. It's a country that I want to spend more time in again, right? And I can see myself spending up to like half the year there. I really like Korea a lot. Winters are a little rough, right? But I love Korea. What Johnny did was disgraceful and embarrassing. Your efforts show the West won't tolerate it. Thank you. Yes, and it shows that the international community is not in support of this. Fantastic. Mr. Knox for 10 says, so he's finally facing actual justice and no way out of it. Now let me get that violin and play a sad tune. Enjoy sleeping next to that dunny and eating bad rice. Karma at its finest. Rusty for 10 says, wakey, wakey, it's cabbage time. Been enjoying the content. Hope you have a wonderful day. My pleasure. Says I challenge Bill McClintock to a mashup of that song. That'd be funny. Quirty Kitty 9 for 10 for Manwan 10,001. As someone living in Korea, shout out. From what I understood, the song was singing about following the law isn't hard. Let's protect the laws. It's really a shame that Johnny won't understand it. That is a shame. Juan Jose Lopez for 10 Canadian says hi from Canada, eh? That's no. Thank you for making all this happen. We need more good things to happen in life. Hopefully that guy gets more time. Yeah, and we do think he will. We do think a fair panel of 3 judges, which he now will have on the appeal, and now that the prosecution has officially appealed, he can get more time. So I think it's possible. Can we send him a plushie? No, he doesn't get any possessions. He gets a dirty, used uniform. In fact, they described how they're given a badge. There's different badges for their level of how bad their crime is. There's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 4 is like murderer and whatever. Level 3 is like sex crimes. 2 is like normal, and like 1 is like very minor. He's probably going to get the sex crime badge, which isn't going to be good for him. But they explained how you have to glue it on with like a sock that you make like rice glue and stuff like that. It's absolutely a nasty kind of process. And you really have nothing in there. You're really stuck with like nothing but your dirty uniform and dirty socks. And, you know, it's not great. Rudy Express is a new member. Thank you. Wedge Tilly, South Korea makes Cambodian prisons looks like Kansas. Well, the difference is, you know, this is a detention center. It's not even the actual prison, the actual place he would eventually end up. And because of that, it's like this waiting area for everybody who's appealing. And because in Korea, it's very easy to appeal, everybody appeals. But what they don't know is sometimes not appealing is the win. This is what we sat on. This was our trap card that we sat on for 2 years. And I didn't talk about this, but we knew it. I talked about it with others on the SCT, Dr. Ulrich, Gabe. We all knew this stuff, but we didn't talk about it. Sonia Chris says that was far more beat up than I was expected. Yep. Human says, greetings from Germany. Let's commission English version of the song, Tell Her to Johnny. That'd be great. It's me, Phil, 2255 for £5 says, hey, Johnny Smalley's actions have consequences. Oh, hang on. You can't watch this now. Nope. He does not have access to the internet at all. But somebody might write him a letter and might say, hey, Johnny Somali, Legal Mindset is still owning you. That's possible. That could happen. Does Archie has legal problems follow him to the U.S.? Only potentially the offender status. That's what's going to follow him. Potentially. JJIE says for 75, now not looking forward to him continuing to stream after he gets out of prison. Got to play the song on his stream. That's what you can do. So when he tries to come back, you need to troll him with that. And that's going to be absolutely perfect. Ruby Express for 10 says, well, his charges in Korea carry over the U.S., not the criminal charges, but potentially the offender status, right? That's an argument that I'm making. For 5, here says, I think he's going to have a really fun time since he's going to get to spend more time in Korea. But the thing is, he's not going to be doing fun stuff in Korea, right? He's not going to be doing fun stuff in Korea. So that's definitely not going to be good for him. So that's why my conclusion here, and let me bring up my judgment here. My judgment here is that Johnny Somali is now stuck in Korea for beyond 6 months, likely a year, possibly more. His detention life is going to be a living hell, worse than the labor prison by far. We, however, the Somali conviction team, myself, we are going to continue to push for locking him up for the maximum time in Korea. We want him there for 2 years, 3 years, the maximum time. We think the maximum is probably what the prosecutors recommended, probably 3 years, and we're going to keep pushing for that. But guys, thank you for being here. I love all of you. Let me get these last 2 here. Qwerty Kitty says we should put the song lyrics translated in English in a letter for him. That'd be beautiful. And Kay's Blue Jean says this is horrifying. Imagine something that is physically wrong with you, but you can't communicate that. He gambled. His nonsense could win him a death sentence. Well, he won't. He's not going to die in prison, but he could have some problems. Also, there's solitary confinement. So he could be stuck in solitary confinement. But we'll talk more about that. I'm going to talk more about prison conditions, other stuff. If you want to support the SCT, by the way, guys, if you are thankful for all the work that we did, all the hard work that people did, you can head over to Ko-Fi, my Ko-Fi, check that out, drop a dono for them. I'll put that in the description right now. It's something you guys can do for everybody. Go over to Ko-Fi if you want to help out there, or get a cabbage. That also helps out. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Let me get this last one here. It would have been better if Johnny's spam can Somali was locked in enhanced interrogation room. That'd be fun too. Anyways, take care, guys. Stay based. Don't be coping and seething. I will see you later.
You are coping and seething. You just can't believe what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is all day, and now you are molding. You're coping so hard. Coping and seething. believe it.